My name is Lulanga Sydney. I'm the tutor for Human Resource Development 4. As we begin looking at this course, let us see the learning outcomes, the competencies that you are supposed to attain at the end of this course. At the end of this course, you should be able to evaluate various mechanisms of human resources development. You should be able to measure the importance of modern training methods. You should be able to assess the importance of human resources development as the best method of employee retention. Now, when you are talking about retention, you are talking about managing people, ensuring that there is less labor turnover in the organization or experienced by the organization. There's less discontent. Employees are motivated. So through human resource development, you are able to attain all those. So how would we define human resource development? It's a framework for helping employees develop their personal and organizational skills, knowledge, and abilities. It's also a set of systematic and planned activities designed by an organization or designed by the human resource development or department to provide the workers, the employees, with the necessary skills to meet current and future job demands. So what's the relationship between human resource management and human resource development? Human resource management is the larger aspect in the organization or larger department that deals with all the issues to do with human resources in an organization. It has many functions, and human resource development is just a component of the human resource management department. So what are the functions of human resource development? Human resource development has a number of functions that it needs to put into effect, but the major one has to do with training and development, ensuring that the employees have the right skills, they have the right competencies, they have the right knowledge in order to carry out the demands of their job, the immediate and also in future when the other skills that they attain through development are called upon. Human resource development also looks at organizational development, not only the development of the individual employees, but also the organizational development. It also looks at career development. Now, training and development, when we are looking at training and development as key to human resource development, we realize that training is mostly job specific. It looks at particular areas that the person is supposed to attain or acquaint himself in. It looks at a number of factors. It looks at knowledge, training, looks at skills, looks at attitudes for the employees in a short term to do with a specific job or a task, and this mostly is attained through orientation, which is a shorter term, induction, and also looks at the skills and technical training. It looks at mentorship, it looks at coaching. Now, development, we said it's preparing the employees for the future. It's preparing the organization for the future. It also increases the capacity to perform at a current job. And development, mostly you look at management training, you look at supervisory development. Now, what about organizational development? Organizational development, we are saying you need to improve how the organization functions, the effectiveness of the organization, and its employees, the well-being of the employees through the application of behavioral sciences. Now, when we look at behavioral sciences, we mostly look at Abraham Maslow, who looks at the hierarchy of needs, ensuring that in the organization you realize those needs. We can also look at Pavlov, who looks at behavioral how employees respond to certain situations through programming, for example. Okay, and then organizational development also focuses on the micro and macro levels. We said also that human resource development brings about or realizes the change that take place in the organization. We are looking at employees realizing certain changes, demands to their job or demands of their job, the skills that are needed, the knowledge, and other factors. And these play a major role, especially when it comes to realizing how to fulfill these demands. So human resource development plays the role of a change agent, ensuring that these changes take place, or they are initiated, they are carried out, and they are evaluated later on. What about career development? Now, career development is an ongoing process by which individuals progress through series of changes until they achieve their personal level of maximum achievement. So career development is an ongoing process. Individuals undergo some changes, their work undergoes some changes, the organization undergoes some changes, and people move with these changes, and this process that helps the individuals to progress through the series of changes in order to achieve something is what is called career development. Career development focuses into two areas, which is career planning and career management. Now, organizational structure of human resource development departments, we realize that companies differ in size and in status, their line of business, the way they interpret things, the way they relate with other people. So these differences determine how the company should be structured. And therefore, it's difficult to determine for a company how it should structure itself. Some companies have what you call personnel administration department. Others have just human resources department. Others have different roles given to certain people to deal with human resources in the organization. And one of those roles is of an HR manager. So what is the role of an HR manager? An HR manager's role is a frontline participant in human resource development. So a frontline participant means that he's the one in the forefront, is the one who initiates certain, who does what you call needs assessment, looking at what the employees are expected to do and what they are doing. And if there's any gap there, then that gap needs to be closed up. So as a frontline participant in human resource development, ensuring that the employees get the training that they need, managers get the development that they need, and then this person implements human resource development programs and procedures, is also an on-the-job trainer, is a mentor, is a coach, is a career and employee developer, integrates human resource development with organizational goals and strategies. He or she promotes human resource development as a profit enhancer. This person also tailors human resource development programs, practices to corporate needs and budget, ensures that everything works according to what the organization expects and what the organization can afford. So he realizes all these needs within the specific framework. This person also institutionalizes performance enhancement, and this person is there to ensure that the organization has the right skills in the right place at the right time. So what are some of the challenges to human resource development today? There are a number of challenges that we realize human resource development faces in the workplace today. The first one, it talks about demographics changes. There are more women in the workplace. There are more young people coming into the workplace, and this changes the dynamics in the workplace. Also, the competing in the global economy, the elimination of the skills gap, the need for lifelong learning, the need for organizational learning. Okay, so what framework would these people, how do an organization meet such challenges? One of the things that the organization needs to put into place is a framework for the human resource development process. And this framework goes through 4 stages. The first one is needs assessment needs to be carried out. There's need to design what type of response or type of solution that needs to address these things, and then implementation and evaluation. Then we go back to the needs assessment. So what are some of the reasons that needs to be considered when conducting an internal needs assessment? The first one is you need to realize that the employees' skills, knowledge can become obsolete. So they become outdated. So if that happens, then there's need to replace that employee or to try to give the employee better skills. Skills that would help the person to answer or to respond to certain demands. So this obsolescence calls upon technical advancements, cultural changes, new systems, computerization. The second one is the career plateaus. There's need for education and training programs to be introduced and put into place to ensure that the employees do not remain stagnant. The employees are able to compete with the new employees who are coming in. The current employees continue adding value to the organization, and they remain relevant to the organization. So the obsolescence of the skills and then the career plateaus, they help we need to consider those factors. Now the third reason why we need to consider conducting an internal needs analysis is employee turnover, employees leaving the organization. And therefore, an organization needs to develop plans for new employees, how these employees would easily be incorporated into the organization. Now, what is the importance of training and development? Training and development maintains qualified products, qualified personnel, qualified service delivery. It also achieves high service standards. Training and development helps to provide information for newcomers, those people who have just joined the organization. Training and development also refreshes the memory of old employees. So between the old and the new employees, training and development can bring them to par. The other issue about training and development is that it helps to achieve learning about new things, especially things to do with technology, things to do with products, things to do with service delivery. It also reduces or eliminates error, mistakes, and mistakes could be costly. So through training and development, those errors, those mistakes are eliminated, and then the company cuts down on cost, the company becomes more effective, the company becomes more efficient, and there's professionalism that is practiced in the organization, both at individual level, at group level, departmental level, and at organizational level. It also, training and development also offers opportunities for staff to get feedback and also to realize areas that they need improvements. Training and development improves communication and relationships in the organization. There's better teamwork. It brings, it builds bridges between people, and it ensures that everybody has the skills, has the competence, has the confidence, has the ability and capability to carry out certain jobs that they are expected to carry. Now, we look at the ask concept. Ask stands for certain aspects, which we are going to look at now. It mostly helps, it looks at areas of need when there's a gap in the company, looking at the actual and looking at the expected results. So employees may have targets, may have goals, may have objectives, but then when you look at their performance, they may not be meeting those goals, they may not be meeting the objectives, they may not be meeting anything that, or carrying out the job the way they're supposed to carry it out. Therefore, there's a gap between the actual and the expected. So ask, as we said, it's a concept. They're initials. They stand for attitude, they stand for skills, and it stands for knowledge. So attitude, skills, and knowledge, you take the first letters, then you have ask. And this helps us to close up the gaps in the organization. Now, there are 5 principles of learning that we need to take note of, or the organization needs to take note of. The first one, for an organization to qualify as a learning organization, there's an aspect that needs to be highlighted. The first one is participation. Those people who are supposed to go for training or development need to be involved, and they need to participate in their own training and development, and that you do by doing. And that way they are going to own the training and development. It's going to make sense. The second one is repetition, repeating ideas and concepts to help people to learn. The third one is relevance, learning better when material is meaningful and related to the job, to their lives, and to the training should not be cut off from the rest of the world. Transference, that means that we need to use simulations. Simulation is creating an environment similar to the real environment. So employees should be able to transfer the skills, the knowledge that they attain in a particular learning environment to the actual when they go to the work, when they go back to the workplace. And then the last one is always important, to give feedback, and feedback helps the employees to adjust training methods to their real lives. Now, let's look at the systematic approach to training. We need systematic approach to training because we need to have certain things in place. It needs to be procedural. It's a process, and therefore there are certain steps or certain components that we need to take cognizance of. So before we start training and developing people, we need to identify that first we must try to know what do they know. We must try to know what they know before they perform the job or before we take them for training. We also look at what they should know. Okay, so those are 2 different things. What do they know and what they should know. And what they should know will help us to improve the performance of the employees. Okay, and then it's also important to realize that it's not necessary to be rude all the time. We can be nice to people for them to know, to feel appreciated, and even when they are in the wrong, we find ways of correcting the wrong. So we don't condemn the employees, we may condemn their performance and ensure that their performance is separated from the individual and from the professional aspect. So there are 9 steps in the training and development process that we need to take note of. The first step, we talked about it, we assess training and development needs. The second one, we prepare training and development programs or plans. The third one is we specify the objectives. The fourth one is we design the training programs, training and development programs. The fifth one, we select the instructional methods. Number 6, we complete training and development plans. Number 7, we implement training and development programs. Number 8, we evaluate the training and development programs. Number 9, we plan for future training and development program. Now, this is a process. It means that we move step by step, and when we reach step 9, we come back to step 1. So training and development is a lifelong learning. It's lifelong realization of certain skills, knowledge that the employees may need depending on the current and future. So in conclusion, what have we learned from this presentation? We have learned a number of factors or a number of things. Mostly we have based ourselves to understand that there is a greater difference between training and development, but we have also realized that in the workplace, when you are training people, you need to take cognizance of certain components, the initial, how training should be realized, the gap. Remember the ask concept, attitude, skills, and knowledge. Okay, you need to look at the attitude and skills and knowledge of the employees to ensure that they attain the correct training and development. We have also realized that most of the training and development is targeted to ensure that the trainees learn something they need to apply to their job. We said training is a short term, is task oriented, targeted on achieving a change of attitude, skills, and knowledge. Ask in a specific area, it's usually job related. And development, we said development is a long-term investment in human resources.